So we're going to try and make sense of the foot pressure map, so you get a better understanding of perhaps what areas of the body you might want to perform self-myofascial release work, the foam rolling or stick work. It may also give you a little indication of which strength exercises or flexibility and mobility drills you might want to start to focus on. Now we've got the static posture and the dynamic movement screening, as well as foot pressure, to give us a more comprehensive understanding of what your structure and your body's going through. But in regards to the foot pressure, when you're standing there doing the foot pressure check-in, as you can be guided through the video that is connected to that portion, you're going to get a better sense of where is the weight of your body as it relates down into the feet. Now, just using this very simple illustration of the feet, if you have more of your weight going into the balls of your feet here, it could very well be that we've got a little bit of forward position of the pelvis. And you can feel this yourself. As you just glide your hips forward, there's more weight in the balls of your feet. And that would mean that the muscles on the back side of your body, several of them in fact, are going through a shortening, while the muscles on the front side of your body are going through some lengthening. Now we've typically found that in terms of foam rolling, self-myofascial release work, most people really respond well to rolling out the shortened tissue to help bring them back to a more balanced position. But there's a smaller percentage, maybe 20% of the people, that actually respond better when they roll out the lengthened tissue. So you'll have to figure out which one that is, which camp you fall under. But at least it gives you a starting point. So if there's pressure in the forefeet, the foot pressure map is going to list a whole bunch of tissue in the body, muscles and whatnot, that'll give you a list from head to toe in an educated kind of hypothesis based on simply where your pressure of your feet are, what areas to target. There'll be one column for shortened tissue and one column for lengthened tissue. And just play around with one or the other and then check back in with where the foot pressure is. Now, if it weren't in the ball of your feet, perhaps you felt it in the heels. So maybe the pressure is in both heels. That would suggest that the body is pulling some of its mass backwards. So we might now find just the opposite. We might find that the muscles on the backside are now the ones being lengthened, while the muscles on the front side are being shortened. So you'll see that if this is your foot pressure, then there'll be a list of tissues, muscle tissue and soft tissue, in which to target there as well. Now, there could be those of you that actually experience no forward or backward action. Perhaps you feel it mainly on one foot and not so much on the other, almost like the other foot is floating off and all your weight's going down onto one side. Well, that's going to be more about some of the muscles along the side of your body being short on one side compared to the other. And it's not all short on the left or all short on the right. It's a combination where one area is short, the counterpart may be lengthened on that side, but maybe here is short and this is lengthened here. Just by using the foot pressure map, again, there'll be a list of targeted areas. And if you're not sure how to target it with the foam rolling, just go to the attached videos and find out a little bit more instruction that way. Now, we can have it on over the left foot, but maybe there's somebody who feels more of their weight over the right foot. Again, just go by the list of the foot pressure that correlates also to the body shape. So we've got essentially 8 foot pressures that correspond to 8 body shapes. Now, I say 8, but in the book it says 7. And the reason why is because there's going to be some of us that experience no difference between left and right, and very little difference between forward and back. In fact, you'll stand there and you'll kind of home in on where the pressure is, and you would swear that there's an even amount of pressure forward and back and side to side. More often than not, what's happening there is one body shape that is gliding sideways, taking mass with it there, but the other portions of the body are gliding in the opposite direction to negate the shift. So if we have a translation or lateral shift in one place and an opposing lateral shift somewhere else, the mass of the body may very well end up 50-50. It doesn't mean just because you feel no tendency forward, backwards, or left or right that you are properly aligned like an anatomy book. chances are, I hate to tell you, but you've probably got some lateral shifting going on. So there's a whole bunch of tissue that you could target there. Now, the other ones would be, instead of both in the heels, you might have one foot feeling pressure in the heel while the other foot feels pressure in the forefoot. This suggests torque, torsion, rotation. When you turn your body to the right, you'll most likely get a sense of how there's more weight in your right heel, but also how there's more pressure in the left forefoot. So that suggests a right rotation. If you had more pressure in your right forefoot and left heel, that may suggest your body just subtly torquing to the left. So certain muscles on one side of the body are shortening, while counterparts on the opposite side might be doing something else. So these 7, or officially 8, foot pressures align themselves or correspond to the 8 body shapes. And so you can use one or combine them both to see if this is really what's going on with your body, and utilize the target points of soft tissue work, self-myofascial release, strength exercises, or even the mobility drills to try and even things out so that the joints, instead of being torqued, restore to a more central place where muscle is balanced. The tension surrounding a joint is more optimal in terms of keeping it where it should be. The space between the bones that we call a joint is neither too compressed or too lax and too hypermobile, but everything starts to come back more towards center, where we can achieve optimal performance, elevated strength, and just overall well-being and health.